All right, Professor Dr. Bahadır Aktug is the head of geophysical engineering at Ankara University. He joins me now live for more analysis. Thank you so much for joining us on the program, Professor. Now, Turkey has faced several earthquakes this year, one being in Elazığ, which caused quite some damage and resulted in the loss of many lives. What does this earthquake in Izmir tell us about the risks Turkey faces when it comes to natural disasters?
Actually, Western Anatolia and the agency in general is seismically very active, and we have experienced many similar earthquakes during the last century. But this one is very close to the city center of Izmir, which is the third largest city in Turkey, and has a population over 4 million. And the earthquake risk in Izmir is generally under the shadow of Istanbul, in which we expect a much larger earthquake in the near future. I believe this is a kind of warning, and because there are more serious fault lines just going through the city center of Izmir.
Do we know when this expected earthquake might happen, looking at how long the earthquake in Izmir lasted? It lasted about 15 seconds. Does that tell us anything about future quakes that we should expect in Turkey?
To predict the future earthquake or the character of the next one is not possible at the moment. But we know that this earthquake happened due to which is compatible with the driving mechanism of the whole tectonics of Aegean and the Western Anatolia, which is the north-south extension due to the Hellenic arc, and the earthquake occurred on a fault line, which is almost parallel to the city center of Izmir and 70 kilometers south of Izmir. It is actually not very close, but it's still enough to destroy, collapse 17 buildings.
So how should we, as the potential people who will face these natural disasters, be prepared?
And we see that not only for this one, but in general, we see most of the damage and the loss of lives come from poor construction rather than an underestimation of the hazard. We see that the region, Bayraklı region, where the most damage was observed, is in the northern part of Izmir city center, and there are other regions which are much closer to the epicenter of earthquake, but with less damage. So actually, the poor construction plays a vital role and for the destruction.
Right. This earthquake was also felt here in Istanbul. It was felt in neighboring Greece and Samos. Why was most of the damage done in Izmir compared to Samos?
Actually, the damage propagates with respect to the distance, and Izmir is the nearest largest city. For the epicenter of earthquake, it was felt, and if we put it on a scale from 1 to 12, which we call the Mercalli intensity scale, the earthquake corresponds to a scale of 7, which can be classified as very strong. It is common that we can actually the earthquake reported magnitude of earthquake is 6.6, which was reported just within the minutes of the earthquake. That the actual magnitude could be as large as 7, as reported by many international agencies. So an earthquake of 7 magnitude is enough to be felt for over a few hundred kilometers away.
All right, Professor Bahadır Aktug, thank you so much for joining us on the program here on TRT World.